As a supermodel, actress, and health expert, I've traveled the world, and I have learned that no two people share the same story. My name's Carol Alt, and in my living room, you'll hear the stories that have shaped some of the most successful people in their industries. Welcome to Carol Alt's living room. He might be small in size, but this fashion designer is a huge deal. From Malaysia to Manhattan, Zang Toi has nothing to hide, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say on Carol Alt's living room. Hi, I'm Carol Alt, and welcome to Carol's living room. Today we're going to learn what it's like to be Zang Toi. Zang, we're really good friends. This is almost going to be a hard interview to do because I know a lot of the answers of the questions I'm going to ask.
Well, I'll make it as easy as possible.
Thank you, darling. I hope you can. So, what is it like to be Zang Toi? You were born in Malaysia. Tell us what Malaysia was like.
Wow, Malaysia is one of the most beautiful countries, I think, in Southeast Asia. People are so friendly and beautiful, and maybe I might be biased, but we have the best cuisine in the whole Southeast Asia.
And you love to cook.
I love to cook. I love to eat. You know, we're both foodie. We love our food.
And we foodie a lot together.
Yes. And you know, Malaysia is just really beautiful. It's a tropical country with a lot of beautiful, bright colors, flowers, and cuisine. It's just, you know, from what I can remember, I had the happiest childhood growing up in Malaysia, in the little village where my parents had the little grocery store, and where I had the happiest childhood growing up.
You grew up in a very big family.
Yes, I'm the youngest. I'm the baby of 7.
And your parents always encouraged your artistic side.
Yes, I was very fortunate. Even my father was a very, old-fashioned Chinaman who was very strict about education and studying, getting straight A's. Because I'm the youngest of 7, so he literally let me get away with murder. I never liked to study that much growing up. I always liked to draw and sketch. I remember 5 or 6, 7 years old, growing up in my parents' grocery store. Instead of studying or doing my homework, I'll be drawing on the floor, on the counter, in all the account book, and I didn't get punished because I was a baby, so they let me get away.
Actually, they had a store, so they sold them all in the store, right?
Yes.
Little sideline, Zang Toi originals.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I think I was 7 years old. We catered to a lot of British. A lot of British was sent to Malaysia to become the manager at the rubber estate. So every Christmas, my father would commission me to draw a little handmade Christmas card and send it to all his clients. I was only 7 years old.
Well, I have to say and you, of course you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but being gay in Malaysia at that point, was it difficult at all? Did anybody bother you about this? Did they embrace it? Because you're so free about it, and it's so a part of who you are.
Exactly. I'm very free. Of course, I think every boy or girl growing up, you always get bullied, you know. And when I was maybe from 12 to 15 years old, there are a couple of bullies that jealous of, because I'm always very popular, even though I'm gay, but I'm always very popular with all the girls.
Even when you walked in here today, I was like, oh, he's so damn cute.
And
I'm like, I know.
And what I was lucky because I grew up with so much love for my family, so it doesn't bother me. And those bullies now they regret. Now that I've become one of the most famous person in Malaysia. They all want to be my friends now. All the bullies growing up.
So you tamed all those bullies. Well, you just have that personality. I mean, I had to ask because you just have such a loving personality. I just was wondering, you know, why was that? Because at the time that you're 6 months younger than I am.
Right.
I'm born in 1960, you're born in 61. And, it wasn't easy at that point because gays had no rights.
Yeah.
It was very difficult. In fact, I was one of the first people who we did hair cares trying to get rights for gay people. And so, it's so embraced now and so loved. But at a moment there, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, it can go either way. But I was just very fortunate. I grew up with such a loving family. I was surrounded with so much love.
And they knew, and they just accepted it.
Yeah, accepted, and I grew up with so much confidence realizing it. So a little setback here, a little bully here when you're a little kid, it doesn't bother me that much, you know.
So when you liked to draw, what was your favorite thing to draw?
I think I was drawing, I was doing mostly watercolor. Of course, I like to draw. I remember I always loved to draw mermaids and lotus flower on the pond, you know. And of course, in Malaysia, you also grew up drawing landscape. There's a lot of cows, you know, on the landscape. And I love butterfly. I draw a lot of butterflies and flowers.
Did you have any formal training in drawing? I mean, you've been doing this since a kid, but it was just innate.
You just learn, and you learn it from you have art classes in school, and I always done very well with in my art classes. I remember I was a very shy kid growing up. I was, I think,
which is hard to believe because you're so outgoing now.
I was 16 years old. I think I was entered into competitions, drawing a poster for, I think, a national competition. And I can't even remember what exactly I drew for a poster, and I won the first prize. And when the school announced it, I won the first prize. I was so shy, I didn't even tell my family. I went to accept the award all by myself. Aww. When I came home with the award, my entire family was so mad at me. So
they wanted to share it with you.
No, I wasn't sure. I said maybe it's a mistake. They might have made a mistake.
I know, right? Yeah. The whole family, they call somebody else's name out.
Exactly.
According to your brother, you guys weren't very rich when you were growing up. I mean, of course, with a sundry store that your parents ran, but with 7 kids and 7 mouths to feed, you had to work for everything you got. How did that shape you?
Well, I think, you know what, it's amazing. It just shapes it. It makes you appreciate what you get, what you earn, and you never take life for granted. You know, I came here 37 years ago with $300 in my pocket to study at Parsons School of Design. My parents paid for the tuition.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you went to Toronto first.
Yes, I went to Toronto first. I was so miserable there. No, I thought growing up, I have 2 older brothers who went to school in England and then
you
Scotland.
could say that and get away with it.
I was so miserable. And growing up, you look up to your older brother. I thought I'm going to go to London to study like my 2 older brothers. But when it's time for me to leave Malaysia, my 2 brothers are still finishing college in Scotland. So my dad said, I'm so sorry, I can't afford to send you to England. It's getting too expensive. So they researched at Canada, Toronto. That was the cheapest one. Not even the second best, was the cheapest to send me there. So I was sent there to do my grade 13 for a year. And then now thinking back, life is a destiny. You know, if I was sent to London to study, I'll probably end up somewhere in Europe because I was so miserable in Toronto. And at that time, I have another brother who live and work in New York. So it was time for me to apply for college. And talking to his friends, he said, if you want to be in the creative field, New York is the best place. So he sent the catalog from FIT and Parsons and to me to apply. And at that time, I was thinking about interior design instead of fashion. And I applied for both, and I got accepted by both colleges.
You would have been great at either, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then my sister said, you know what, you should try fashion. Why don't you try fashion instead of interior? And I did. I took my only sister's advice, and
so wait, you have 6 brothers, so there's 6 boys and
brothers,
1 girl.
1 girl, yeah.
Well, so in actuality, because you were the baby, everybody was like giving you like the input of what they thought you should do and where they thought you should go. So your father paid for everybody.
Yeah, pay for all our education.
This must have been some sundry store.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's funny. My father, I was a little boy, 7 or 8 years old. My father always told me that you have to study really hard because all you're getting is your education. After that, you're on your own. So true to their word, I never received a penny since I graduated from Parsons. My parents worked very, very hard their whole life to provide for the children's education.
7 kids, this is amazing.
Yeah, and we grew up, in the little grocery. We never have a telephone. We don't have a television. My second brother bought my mom and dad a tiny little television. I remember this small. After I turned 18, he was working, and they were very careful with money. They say because they never have a opportunity for education. So that is the most important thing for them. They say, yeah, we're gonna put away all our saving for your education. So.
And they put 7 children through college with a sundry store in a little town in Malaysia.
Yeah, and not only that, they put 7 children through to college. My parents are one of the most generous people I know. Even though we don't grow up with a lot of money, growing up, I grew up in the grocery store until I was 15 years old. I never remember eating a meal by ourselves as a family. My parents always invited someone less fortunate than us, have no money. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Always have somebody else's children eating with us because they can't afford that for a poorer family. My parents are just the most generous people.
You know, it's so amazing because I know you so well, even though we've known each other only about
two and a half years,
right?
Yeah.
But you have such a business mind. And we're going to get into that, but I'm seeing now why you have that business mind. You're innately creative, but you're business taught because you worked in the store. You followed your family. They were very frugal. You learned all this from them. You learned absolute business and discipline.
Oh, definitely. I always say, I give my credit of my success to my parents. We grew up, we were made to help out in the grocery store a few hours before we're allowed to go and play before dinner times. And you always help out. When you don't grow up with money, you just learn to be more careful with money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't spend money that you don't have.
All right, so you leave Malaysia. You think you're following in your brother's footsteps, but no way, you can't go to England. It's too expensive. The baby of the family gets kind of the dregs, right?
Yes.
You get tossed in Toronto, which is like, ew, I hate Toronto.
Yes.
And then you end up in the Parsons School of Design. When in that moment did you say, this is going to be my life's vocation? This is what I'm going to dedicate my life to. Was it when you were in Parsons? Did it all come together? Or was it actually before then?
No, actually, it's all happened the very first day I arrived in New York. I remember my brother came and picked me up at the airport.
Well, you were kind of lucky because you had a brother here already.
Yeah,
right?
a bus over to the tiny.
With a bus?
I remember we took a bus from the airport because we don't have that money. And he lived in a tiny little studio apartment on 14th Street between Avenue B and C.
Oh, in Alphabet City.
Yeah, how
then.
bad that?
Oh my
it's
gosh.
still bad now. Imagine 37 years ago.
I remember 37 years ago.
So even though,
although I hate to say that,
but it was so exciting. I remember the minute we get off the bus to go walk to the apartment.
Did you go, where the heck did I land?
No, actually, I knew. I said, this is going to be my home. I knew the very first day I stepped onto the soil of New York, I knew this is going to be my home. And then, of course, a week later, I started school. That's when I knew. And this is very embarrassing. The very first day of class, I remember, I never forget the name of the teacher, Miss Cher, with the piercing blue eyes. We all gathered around her. She was threading the sewing machine, the industrial sewing machine. I was in the back of among everyone. So she was just very casual asking, is there anyone doesn't know how to thread a sewing machine? So I raised up my hand, then I started to look around, and my hand was the only one that was raised. It's too late for me to put it down.
Yeah, she caught you.
The teacher said, why don't you come stand in next to me by the machine?
So you can see.
Yeah, I only knew how to sketch. I wasn't one of the boys growing up playing with Barbie dolls, wanted to be a designer. And then...
No, you were too busy working your parents' sundry store.
Yeah, exactly. And then this first day, we were given a very simple homework, a cotton muslin, a little T-shirt. You had to hand stitch it together. So that night, the first
Did you know how to thread a needle?
Well, I do know how to thread, but you're going to love this. After I cooked a little simple dinner, my brother and I had dinner. After dinner, I finished my homework in 15 minutes. I told my brother, oh, this is very easy. And I went to class, and the next day, Parsons is very strict. 9 o'clock, everybody have to hand in their homework. I hand in my homework. So, oh, this is very easy.
I'm like right there.
Yeah, and then I was called to the front of the class again. The teacher, oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
What did she say?
The reason why it only took me 15 minutes to stitch the whole T-shirt, my stitches were this big. And after the second incident in 2 days, I was so embarrassed. I thought to myself, I said, you know what? If everybody in the class knew they want to be a designer, they know how to sew, they know how to cut, they know everything about
they've
fashion.
been doing this their whole lives.
Yeah,
really.
and they read every fashion magazine. I never even read a fashion magazine my whole life. I said, you know what? If this is what I want to do, I better take it seriously. I better study 3 times harder than everybody else.
Yeah, because you had no history.
Yeah,
you had nothing to fall back
exactly.
on. So you had to basically start from in the basement and
Yeah.
crawl out to ground zero.
Zero, exactly. So I did, I worked extremely hard for the next 8 months. So by
Which
the
was
8
nothing
months,
new to you, by the way.
Then I caught up with everyone. The rest was history.
Yeah, because you graduated in 1984
Yeah.
from Parsons. What did you do next?
Well, actually, you know what? I was one of the few people that never have a portfolio. I started working for my former designer, my boss. I got a part-time job with her when I was still at Parsons, but I did really well in my illustration classes. So I told my teacher, I said, I really need to get a part-time job to make extra pocket money and pay for art supply. Otherwise, I can't afford to come back to school. My parents don't have extra money to pay for all those things. So at that time, it was a chairwoman of the department who is very, very strict. Everybody is so petrified of Mrs. Peggy. Girl back then not even allowed to wear jeans to school. You get expelled immediately.
Right.
If you don't hand in your homework on time 3 times, you're out. They kick you out. So I was called into Mrs. Peggy's office.
Were you sweating?
I was sweating and nervous. I said, oh my God, what did I do wrong? If I get expelled from school, what am I going to tell my parents? Will send me all the way to New York to study. And then she told me, your teacher told me that you are her favorite student. You're looking for a part-time job. There's a designer in Soho looking for someone to work part-time. You're going to be the only one I'm sending. You will get a job.
Oh my God, how great.
Yeah, that's how I did.
Who was the designer?
Mary Jane Marcassiano.
Marcassiano.
Yeah, Marcassiano, who known for her sweater.
Right.
So I was hired for first day they hired me a day per week for a couple hours to just cut sample with them. So I go in for the first 3 weeks. I go in, I say hello. And then I do my work and I say goodbye. In between, I never talk to anybody. And then 3 weeks later, the mother approached me and said, we love your work ethic. Would you consider to work 2 or 3 or 4 days a week if it doesn't affect your schoolwork? We'd love to work as much as you could. I said, sure, I would love to. I said, I need the money to pay for school. So I did. And then the first day of the summer, that summer vacation, we both don't drink. I probably went out, have a little beer with my classmate. I have the worst hangover.
Yeah, I know you. One mouthful and you're under the table.
And the phone rang at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Where are you?
In front of the book of my friend, my boss, Mary Jane, said, what are you doing this summer? It's my first day of summer vacation. I said, I'm looking for a job. She said, well, would you like to work here this summer? I said, I would love to, but I said, but I need a full-time job. I need to, to make some money to pay for my expenses. He said, it's perfect. That's the reason why I call you. It's a smaller company. She only have one assistant. I said, my assistant, I got into a fight yesterday. He walked out on me, and my parents and I, we all loved you. We want you to work full-time this summer.
Wow.
I said, are you for real? I said, yes. Well, when can you start? I said, I'll be there in an hour. So.
With a hangover and everything.
Yeah, that was straight down. And I went to work that summer for her full time. And then 3 weeks before summer is over, the father called me into his office, say, Mary Jane really love working with you. She doesn't want another assistant. She would like to put an ad in Women's Wear Daily to look for an assistant for you during the day. And then you come back and work for us whenever you can, on the weekend, after school, as long as you promise her not to quit school. We know your parents send you all the way to study.
Yes.
And that's what I did. And I had an assistant during the day, and I'm always the first one to rush out of the class at 4 o'clock and jump in the subway and get to work.
You were lucky because you loved your studies and you loved your work.
Yeah,
so
and I did that for 2 years. So for last 2 years of college and start working full-time, I probably live on 2 to 3 hours of sleep every day for 2 years.
Yeah, but you can do that when you're a kid.
Exactly. When
that's
you're young, it's easier. Exactly.
Now it's like, I need my sleep. And I know you went to bed at 5 o'clock this morning, so I hope you can stay awake this whole interview. So you also worked for Shamask.
Yes, after I left my boss, I knew I sort of wanted to go out on my own, but I don't want to do it immediately because I was with the company for about 6 years. So
you worked for Macaziano for 6 years?
6 years.
So you graduated from Parsons
and then continue because I have many job offers. As a matter of fact, Michael offered me a job 3 times, but I didn't want to. They've offered double my salary, but I said, I'm happy with where I am, and I learned so much from my boss, so I stayed for a total of 6 years, including during college time, and then I left, and then I freelanced for Shamas and another knitwear company, so I have 2 jobs. A year before I started my own in 1989.
You know what's so weird is I was wondering how you were so great with knits. You can do anything with a knit. Most people, when you say, oh, can you take this in? They're like, oh, it's a sweater. I can't take it in. I said to you, this sweater's a little big. You said, bring it up. We'll take it in. I was like, oh, my God. I was wondering. Of course, you work with Macaziano.
But
that's a gift because sweaters are really specifically different than any other textiles.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all handloom or done by machine. It's a little trickier.
So you stopped working for them when you started your line.
Yeah.
How'd you have the courage to jump from a paying job to doing your own thing?
You know what? When you're younger, you're foolish. Thinking back, I would never start my own business. But
foolish.
You were foolish. You were too young. You didn't know any better. I was given the opportunity. Came out. I have a business partner then. She owned a sweater factory. That's how we met through doing all those years working. She said, I think you have some talent and you're such a hard worker. Would you ever think about doing your own collection? I look at her and say, yes, but I don't have any money. I was making $25,000 a year, being an assistant designer. She said, well, would you like to go into business together? I said, sure. No, she doesn't have that much money. So we started in 1989 with $50,000. With the $50,000, of course, more than 3/4 went to rent. And then it was Resort 1990. It was back then we show a lot later. It was August 1989. We show the Resort collection. It was tiny little capsule collection, 13 pieces. My lucky 13 pieces, and to tell the truth, that I honestly do not know what I was doing. It was just it happened so quickly. I came up with an idea of 13 pieces, and one dress. It was a bright orange sweetheart neckline with a hot pink chiffon baby doll dress. That one dress from the very first collection made into Vogue magazine in their November issue. So I was in business for 3 months. And then another outfit is a green, white, and chartreuse green, white, and black, and then royal blue, black, and white sweater set and skirt, make it on the cover of Women's Wear Daily. So that basically between Women's Wear Daily and Vogue for my very first collection, that put me on the map.
Yeah, but you didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, I didn't know why. I didn't know what that meant because I was so naive that I didn't even know how to write a thank you note to say thank you for putting my dress.
How old were you in 90? You were like 30 years old.
I was 28 years old. It happened so quickly. You just and then. In November, 3 months later, I designed my very first collection, spring 1990. So
wait, where did you get the money? Because you had $50,000, 3/4 of it went to rent.
No,
you did the capsule collection.
Yeah.
Did that sell?
Yeah, we sell immediately. I have a little white cotton shirt because back then you could buy a Zang Toi shirt for $100 retail.
Oh, good luck trying to.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even buy a cup, right? So we sold, I think, at least 250 shirts to save money, and I didn't even know how to use a big cutting machine. I was cutting with a big shear to save money to cut all the shirt and then send the factory to sew. By the end of the week, my entire hand was all blister from cutting. So we were lucky enough. We were selling enough. It happened almost immediately that everyone thought it was an overnight success, but not forgetting that I already put in a lot of work with Mary Jane.
Yeah, you apprenticed and interned.
Exactly.
And then assisted.
And then 3 months later, we started the first collection, spring 1990. It was a new jacket.
How much did the line cost you to put together?
Very
Because
cheap,
you
very
had-
cheap.
Yeah,
you know
you had
what?
like
So
hardly anything.
I was smart enough. The first collection, 13 pieces, but my partner, my business partner, my ex-business partner owned a sweater factory. So 11 pieces of sweater, we don't have to pay for the label.
Right.
So only one white cotton shirt and one black cotton shorts. The rest are all made for free in a factory. So we save money that way.
You put all the money aside and
Yeah.
then put it towards this next collection.
Collection. Then
Tell
we
us about that collection.
Yeah, it's very small. It was 20 pieces. It was inspired by my homeland, Malaysia, all the bright color. I was one of the first designers came up with all the bright color. In like a shocking pink with red, yellow with hot pink, chartreuse with purple, and at that time Armani was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and he was like
all the
black,
taupe
brown,
and gray, yeah, the
taupe.
gray, exactly. And Anna Wintour just became the editor-in-chief of Vogue
Right.
a year ago.
Before.
Before that,
Where
of
she
course,
put your
come
outfit
in. Yeah,
in, oh,
she came in. Of course, she wanted to wipe away what Grace Mirabella did and put her own stuff. I came up with this burst of bright color, and it was November. That's when I showed spring 1990, and the market editor came back again, looked at the collection, and said, you know what? She took back then was a Polaroid camera.
Right,
She took
Polaroid.
all the Polaroid pictures. He said, I like what I see, but I have to show to Anna. So she went back. 2 hours later, she called back, say, we know you just started your business, but Anna wanted to borrow the entire collection for a meeting. Can we pick it up at 5 o'clock today? We'll return it the following day at 5. I said, sure. So they picked up.
Lucky you said yes, because at that point you didn't have any clue what Anna Wintour was.
Yeah. So they picked
Or
up
the importance of Anna Wintour.
Yeah, it's not that big, 20 pieces, 2 garment bag. They picked it up and they returned the next day. One thing about Vogue, they're very punctual. They say they're going to come at 8 o'clock, they show at 8. They pick up at 5, they returned at 5 o'clock. I have a friend helping me, just the two of us. We're hanging up the clothes, and then the phone rang. So the market editor says, congratulations. He said, what? I said, well, I didn't want to get your hope high. Anna is planning a big story in the March issue called The New Faces of the 90s.
Oh.
But you know how the magazine, they work 7-8 months ahead.
Yes, of course.
And by November, for March, the story is already been wrapped. When Anna saw the first spring collection, she went crazy. She yanked up one of the designers that already been photographed.
Oh my
Until today,
gosh.
I didn't know who that is.
No,
they didn't tell
better
me.
not to know.
Yeah.
And better they don't know who you
Yeah,
are.
exactly. It was like I was in business for all of 3 months. So it was like a movie, They said, but we need, Anna loves your sketches. We must have a full-size sketch, not your tiny little sketch, full-size sketch for the article. Tomorrow, Laurie Schechter going to come and interview at 8 o'clock in the morning, and 12 o'clock, you have to go to the studio to have your portrait taken, and we need...
It's all regimented.
Yeah. And then all happened in the next 3 days. And then February came, and I got an advance copy. Not only I was named one of the new faces of the 90s. My outfit is a red linen jacket with gold orchid buttons from Malaysia and a hot pink linen miniskirt. That outfit was on the opening page of the story. So I was in business for 6 months. So that basically put me on the fashion map.
So that helped your business a lot.
Yeah, it did. And we sold, you don't know how many of those jackets we sold. And that suit, that jacket back then is only retail for $500. And you probably remember there's one of the top boutique on Park Avenue called Martha International. Martha Boutique alone sold over 200 of that suits in that one season. This Martha
That's
alone.
incredible.
Yeah, so it all happened very, very quickly.
We're going to get to what your business model is because it's a very unique model in a sense.
It's a very niche.
Right. But this Anna Wintour story is just too good to let go.
Yeah.
So how long were you the darling of Anna Wintour?
I was Anna's favorite voice for about 5 years.
Okay.
Until she got mad at me. But they
Right.
told that it's not even her. It's one of her marketing editor now being promoted, become the market director. So Anna, you should come and visit me 2 or 3 days before a fashion show. Never once Anna would tell me to change anything. For the first 4 years that I know her, everything I do, she if I do a gypsy story, she will have a gypsy editor. If I do a safari, she'll do a safari. She always never tell me to change anything. She always loved what I did. And then 5 years later, she couldn't come to the meeting. The fashion market director came and said
she was an editor back then, so she wasn't even the director.
Yeah, exactly. I said, we love the collection, but there are 2 dresses that are not very vogue. Don't put on the runway. So I didn't take it seriously because Anna never tell me not to change, not to.
Like if it had come from Anna, you would have done it.
I might have to have done it because, you know, I have a relationship with her, and all those years she never tell me to change, not even change the length of the skirt or anything.
Right.
So that runway
went to
show
her
come, the two dresses run the runway, and I've been banned for life since.
Not just banned. I mean, she literally turns her head her way when you walk into the room.
Exactly, but you know what?
But
she gave me my start. She gave me my start. I have a great 5 years with her.
But you know, it wasn't like it was Anna who asked.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It wasn't like you were dissing her. You just didn't understand that this girl had any power.
Power. I have so much, and they have so much, and they want to control so much. You know, that's why when everybody.
Yeah, but you wouldn't care about that if you understood it came directly from Anna, who you had a relationship with.
Exactly. So, but you know,
I know this has kind of broken your heart over the last few years.
But that's okay, you know. And I'm always thankful to Anna for giving me my start, and she was one of my biggest support.
Yes,
and she was the very first one to make me stage a fashion show. Said you really said you're so great. The whole world should see your fashion show. She made me like literally 3 weeks before the fashion week. We scrambled together and put on a show because she said you really had to put on a show for the whole world to see it.
So she was quite an inspiration to you.
Mm-hmm.
And now she turns her head.
But she did it with every designer. So you can, you know, she flew with everywhere from Giorgio Armani to Gianfranco Ferré to Asadine Alaïa. You know, what can you do?
I know, and now Asadine is passed on. You can't even change that.
Soon she can run out of designer to flew with, right?
She'll look for new designers.
Yeah.
So you have an interesting business because you are both the creative and the business mind behind the creative. Mm-hmm. Usually, you know, like with Gianfranco Ferré, he had his business partner. You know, Valentino has.
And Saint Laurent have his.
Everybody had their behind-the-scenes guy who ran everything so that you could just focus on creativity.
Yeah.
I never believed a designer could do both. I always believed one or the other would suffer until I met you.
Oh.
Seriously. So tell us, we understand you do all the drawings and all the designs, and we'll get into what your inspirations are. Mm-hmm. How do you do this business?
You know what? It's just, you know what? I think it's from being a survivor. When you come here to America with $300 in your pocket, you know, and you have to work full time while finish up 2 years of college. You know, you just don't complain. You just do it. You just get down.
So do you do like creative during the day, and then you do the business at night?
No,
the business
I
during
do
the day, the creative at night?
business during the day, and night times. That's why I do all my creative. That's why I was up to 5 o'clock this morning. So I got back from the gym yesterday around 8 o'clock. I make a little dinner, and then I start sketching my new collection, spring 2019. You know, I was having so much fun. Now I don't have to deal with anybody. It's my own. I'm in my own little world.
When did you lose your business partner? Because you had a business
1995.
partner. What happened?
What she wanted out, you know, the economy started to go down a little bit, and she got scared.
She panicked.
She panicked. She wanted out, and I was lucky enough that she wanted out. My 2 older brothers flew in twice or 3 times to help me negotiate the term with her, and we brought her out.
Why did they do that? Were they lawyers? What were they?
No, they know because they know more about business. They're both CPA accountants, so they were helping. I didn't know back then, and I was very, very lucky. As soon as they helped me negotiate with the term with her, and then as soon as we signed the paperwork, and the business just keep going up and up every year.
And she went, wait a minute, what did I do?
I know. That she did get a lot of money back from her more than her investment, but she could make a lot more, you know, if she stayed with it.
Yeah, but I think she would have dragged you down. Because
Exactly.
You are just you are a solo flyer.
Yeah.
So you do the creative, you draw the designs, you pick all the textiles.
Yeah, I did. I did. Oh, of course, I have an assistant that I bounce idea once in a while with. But basically, I design the entire class. I still do my own sketches, old-fashioned way, and I work directly with my two pattern maker. Because I give them a strict instruction of what I want. So I work very closely with my team. I have a small team.
You have a very small team.
But I work very closely with everybody. Yeah.
And they do everything by hand.
Yeah,
the old-fashioned way.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like the buttonhole are still hand-bound buttonhole.
So every one of these things are by hand.
Yeah,
I mean, how long does a shirt like this take?
This one will take 2 days to do it. It's every stitch is done by machine. Not one stitch is done by machine there.
So it's all done by hand, not by machine.
All done by hand.
So you stitch every single one of these
yes.
sequins on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And beads and the thread work.
And I know your girls, they work very, very hard. So then you pick all your textiles, you pick all your colors, and then you run up the numbers for everything.
Oh, I have to, because I'm not only a designer, I'm also a businessman, and I cannot spend money I don't have. Every time once I've decided on the fabric, I'll get the prices. My assistant Nana will get me all the prices that I have already added up. Sometimes I say, we might have to forego that fabric, it's too expensive.
Oh, interesting. You actually budget yourself.
Oh, you have to, to make it a viable business, you have to. You cannot just spend. I think that's a problem with many talented designers. They don't have the business sense. They only say, "Oh my God, I just have to do
what I want to do.
What I want to do, and the most beautiful collection." Exactly. But then, 6 months later, they say, "Oh my God, they ran up such a big debt." You can't. You just have to. You have to run a very tight ship to make it work.
So you have a unique business in the sense that you do your collection, which is basically a mixture between couture and yet ready to wear. And I say ready to wear in the sense, not to put it down, in the sense that your clothes are so wearable. That they're so comfortable and wearable that they don't feel like couture, although they are built like couture and they're made of the top quality product. So you do your show, then you take your samples and you hit the road.
I hit the road. I always tell everyone I'm only a designer for 3 months of the year. The other 9 months, I'm the traveling salesman. I travel all over the country, and for Saks Fifth Avenue, and before that Nordstrom and all the specialty store. And when I go out there, not only the clothes, of course the clothes have to be there, the product had to be there. The lady, they eat it up. They also buy into a piece of my personality.
Well, yeah, you are just so damn cute. I've got to say, I've never seen anybody tame a room like you.
And I can't. When I go out and do a trunk show, like for the past 7-8 years, I'm the #1 top trunk show performer for Saks Fifth Avenue in the American designer category. The lady, I tease all my ladies, they're very faithful to me. They wait for me twice a year to come into the store, and then they place their order. Most of them, we don't just do 3 or 4 or 5 pieces, we do a wardrobe with them.
Right. I also, it was kind of funny, I was up at the boutique with you, and a woman had found you online, saw your stuff, flew in from Brazil.
Yeah, all the way from Brazil, and now she is currently she's the #1 client for us in the boutique. She already been there. I think we're open for 10 months. She already been to the boutique 5 times already, all the way from Brazil.
Coming up from Brazil.
Yeah.
All right, so now you've got a trunk, which puts you on the road all the time.
Yes.
I know, besides traveling for all your trunk shows, you travel for inspiration.
I did. I love, for the past 15 years, now I love traveling around the world for my inspiration. Sometimes for my travel, or somebody can go to an exhibition. For example, since this is not going to come out until Fashion Week, so I can review for spring 2019, I went to Marrakesh and then Paris for my next inspiration.
And who is that inspiration?
The late Yves Saint Laurent, who just opened both. And his home, 2 museums in Marrakesh, and his couture atelier is now a museum in Paris. I'm a little nervous. Usually, I'm not nervous designing a collection, but this is the first time I'm a little nervous about designing this collection.
Well, you're paying homage to a hero.
I'm paying homage to my fashion hero. This collection is almost like a fan letter to the master. So I'm going to recreate the Yves Saint Laurent greatest hit over the last...
Or actually your version.
Yeah, my version of his greatest hit. That's what I'm trying to do, and I hope I don't mess up.
I can't imagine that you will. But you also, I remember you traveled to Russia. You did your Russian collection.
Yeah, I did.
You did your China collection.
Yes.
You did a Parisian collection.
Collection, the Japanese collection, Venice collection.
So do you get inspiration from what people are wearing, from architecture? What do you draw on the most?
You know what? It's funny. Not many people realize that I actually, because I always wanted to be a interior designer. I actually draw a lot of inspiration from interior to interior design, like the molding, the framing. Like for example, the St. Petersburg collection. I went to Peter Hof Museum. Remember that beautiful ballroom had the most beautiful gold molding.
And,
exactly.
Yes. And down the mirrors.
Yeah. Actually, you wore one of the coat. Remember one?
I do remember. I wore the
black velvet coat with the gold. That was inspired by the beautiful crown molding of the Peter Hof Museum.
That's awesome. I'm going to give you a moment to brag here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if you can do it, because you're so modest. All right. You've won many awards in your career. Let's start with 1990.
The Mouton Cadet Young Designer Award.
You got it right on the nose. 1993.
1993, what did I win? I don't remember.
Should I show you the card? Give you a hint?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now what did you win?
Yeah, from the City Council.
Yes, you did. All right.
You did your homework, huh?
2002?
2002, oh my God, I can't remember. All right, for the International Center of New York.
All right, let me do the bragging. In 2010, you won the Dynamic Achiever Award in recognition of your achievements for the benefit of the Asian American community.
Right.
So you actually work to help cohesiveness between nations of different origins, which is always a good thing.
Yes.
All right, so when it comes to the line, you have an extremely unique approach in terms of not just how you are inspired or how you sell your line, but how you show the line. You have a particular taste in terms of models and aesthetics and how you present your line. I think it's sometimes actually difficult for you to decide where to show.
Right, yeah.
Because every time I've seen your show, the line has outdone the room.
Yes.
I'm correct in that, right?
In the last few years, especially since we got kicked out of Lincoln Center. Lincoln Center was my favorite place to show.
Really? Did you show in Bryant Park?
Yeah, Bryant Park too. Bryant Park is not especially, but somehow with the Lincoln Center, the tent, the runway is bigger, it's more glamorous, So it's tough, I hope eventually IMG will find a permanent home for a fashion week, what?
Yeah, because now it's kind of spread out everywhere.
So
it went from Bryant Park to Lincoln Center to like...
Yeah, and Lincoln Center was my favorite. It's a cultural center, it's glamorous, it's...
It was big, but it was still intimate.
Exactly.
You had some unique fabrics that you've actually created some textiles for. And also, I know that it's very important to you how animals are treated in terms of the furs that you use. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you scoured the earth for a place that was humane.
Humane, yes. All my fur, like the fur, I love fur on my clothes, but we use farm raised. Like for example, the Saga Royal Mink and Saga Royal Fox is actually raised in. I visited Saga Royal Center twice. They invited me to visit the center to see the farm. They are very humane. They're all farm raised.
You won't buy anything from China?
No, not me. I probably will be the last designer if. Maybe I'd rather go out of business because they're not real fur. They're not real fur. The quality is not there, and it's probably not done in a humane way.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it is. Yeah, and PETA has it right. I mean, if you can't do it humane, why do it at all?
Exactly.
Can you actually inspire any manufacturers to do textiles that you want? Can you call them up and say, I want to put this drawing on it, or these butterflies?
Carol, they're all
can say no. They can't
say no to me. I did over the year. Even Laura Piana will create special fabric for me. Just before we met, the Venice collection in 2015. I had the most beautiful. I took a painting. One of my favorite painter, Turner, painting of Venice. He loved Venice. Of course, I have to rechange the color to go with the mood of the collection. I actually have a 300 years old textile company, just an hour and a half outside London, who weave. It's all woven. It's not even printed. A jacket, a scenery, a painting of Turner's Venice for my collection in 2015.
So you don't just use big textile houses. You found some smaller ones.
Yeah, I like to know. As a small business owner, I want to support other small business owner too.
So, what was your favorite collection? Do you have one?
Well, you know what? If I really have to picked one, I think will be my 2004 collection. Somehow that collection
Why?
just
What was it?
I don't know. It just all worked together. It's beautiful. It wasn't a one particular inspiration, but it was a Parisian collection.
Okay.
I love how much I
you've
love
been back
Paris.
to Paris
So many times with the Ritz.
You actually took your mom to Paris?
Yeah, I took my mom to
How old's your
Paris
mom?
2 years. My mom gonna be 90 in November.
Does she mind you saying that?
No, she
Your
looks
mom's very
great.
cool,
Yeah, she's very cool. So that somehow the 2004 collection, I think it was one of the first Paris-inspired collection that I did. It's beautiful. It just everything works. It's so pretty. And at that time too, I had my late friend Farah Foster, whom I met a year before. She flew all the way from LA for the show, and Miss Patti LaBelle was there too. Somehow the and also what make it so special. Now you cannot do with the venue that's not so pretty anymore. I remember that collection was done in Bryant Park. Of course, the venue is a lot bigger. We had the Zang Toi logo where you're wearing right now. It's all done in beautiful red and pink roses and ivy. It was so amazing. The backdrop of the collection was of the runway was this giant life-size Zang Toi logo, all with beautiful pink and red roses. It was very, very romantic.
How did you come up with the logo?
You know what? I came up in 1996 after I broke up with my ex-business partner. The original logo was very simple, just Zang Toi in a box in gold. So after I decided it was a new chapter of my business life, so I remember I came up with this idea. I was at one of my personal favorite museum in New York, the Frick Museum, on 71st Street side. They have a library.
Right.
So I went to the library. I was a little, stressed out, negotiating with my partner to buy her out. Then at the same time, I cleared my mind. I also thought that I want to move forward with the business. First thing that came to my mind, I said, I want to get rid of the old label. I want to create it's almost a new life
chapter,
again, a new chapter, a new label for my collection. And by then, I already started to know my ladies well, my customer, and I want a label that is very glamorous, very pretty. That's why you have all the flower. It's not for me; it's for the ladies. It's just my way to say thank you for their love and support.
Well, I have to tell you, as someone who wears Zang Toi and who's actually bought Zang Toi.
Oh, a lot of Carol is actually a very good customer.
Don't tell all the other designers that. Every time you slip on a Zang Toi, it just encases you. Mm-hmm. You love the female form. You love showing it off with your clothing.
Yes.
It's something very important to you that your women feel sexy while they're dressing very classy.
Yes, it's very important. I love women. Even though I've been an openly gay man, I love women. And my job is very simple. I love women so much. I want women to feel beautiful. One, I always say, if they feel beautiful, they're going to look beautiful. If they feel sexy, they're going to look sexy. And I think that's all I wanted to do with my
and
with
they'll
my
keep
fashion.
Coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we all do. Every time I put something else on, they're like, okay, I have to buy this. You've recently started to license out certain different things. Yes. So I have to know, was the cards the first?
The cards is the first, yeah, was the first.
These are the most clever. They're at Papyrus, and these are the most clever cards.
Yeah,
I mean, just I've started collecting
You
them.
collect them. You didn't send them out, Carol.
I know, I won't send them out. I won't give them to anybody. And when I do give one away, I go, wait a minute, why'd I do that?
It's so fun. You are one of many, all my ladies.
Please don't tell me I'm a common.
They buy them, then they say, oh, no, it's too beautiful. I'm not sending out.
They are. I mean, look at this Art Deco New York.
Some of them even frame them.
So, you know, Art Deco New York. You have the Art Deco shoe. This is actually on velvet.
Velvet.
What is this? It's a crown, right?
This is a crown on velvet. No,
I never opened this one, so I didn't know it was even on velvet.
Thanks to IMG, about 5 years ago, Papyrus of Flash with Cadbury, they were bought by American Greeting Card, the biggest greeting card. Yes, and they wanted to sign up with a designer for licensing, so they become a sponsor at Fashion Week with IMG. So they check with IMG, say, you know, we're thinking about collaborating with a designer. So IMG say, oh my God, you got to see Zang Toi. You got to, he is always our favorite designer. He is the only one always give us a standing ovation. So then IMG reached out to me and said, Papa's looking to collaborate with a designer. Would you be interested? I said, of course, and I would love to. And of course, Papyrus have no idea who I am. They're in the card business. So we invited them to come to the next fashion show. And the day after the show, they said, we're in. Can we sign the contract now? So we signed a 3-year contract. And about 3 months ago, they just renewed my contract for another 3 more years. So we have a contract with them up to 2021. And what is amazing, you know, I didn't know how well they're going to do with the card and everything. Then I got a statement. The last statement I got from them, in 18 months since they launched the collection, they sold almost 600,000 Zang Toi cards.
So you sold 600. Wait a
Almost
minute. The last time I spoke to you was 500. No, they sold another 100,000 since
close to
then.
600,000. They sold over 500,000. Almost close to 600,000.
Wow.
And then I'm dying to see. Now I'm waiting for the second quarter. It's coming up soon. I'll give you a report.
You want to see the numbers in solid.
What is the point creating beautiful thing if it doesn't sell? If the lady or the people want to buy it, you know, I think
you might like to make it, but they don't like to buy it.
Exactly. What's the point?
You know what's so cute about these? Yeah. When I was a kid, we'd buy Barbie dolls.
Barbie dolls.
And the clothing for Barbie dolls were base stitched into basically these wooden. They were cardboard frames, but it looked like a frame with a picture.
Right.
And inside of the picture was this dress that was base stitched on with a pair of shoes underneath.
Oh, really?
So every time I see this, it reminds me of going through the Barbie stuff, saying, "Oh, I want this one. Maybe this one too. Now, which one do I choose? I can only have one."
Maybe you know what? You just gave me a great idea. Maybe I should talk to Papara. Maybe we should do a collection of Barbie dolls, cut out clothes for Barbie dolls.
Yeah, because I mean, she had the little purse and the shoes and the dress, and it was in a cardboard
frame. All the girls
frame
used to play the cut, whatever you call, right?
And then you'd have all these
they can change clothes all the time.
It was fabulous. So so that actually, for me, it brings me back to my Barbie doll days.
And it's pink too.
And by the way, I collected them too until my niece got a hold of them, and then they existed no longer. But yeah, I mean, I always take care of myself.
Right.
What other license? You just signed a couple of other licenses.
We just signed a couple other. We'll be launching next Fashion Week, Honey and Sun Tea, House of Toy Blend Tea, in honor of both of us.
Yes,
because we both love it.
Yeah,
it's going to be green tea with yuzu flavor because of Japanese food, the sushi that we love. It will be with yuzu with a little rose petal, pink rose petals. And then we're also launching organic nail polish collection. So the day after the show on the 12th September, we're going to do a little launch in the Zang Toi boutique.
You also make your own shoes because I know I've been wearing your shoes.
Yes, that's shoes. And then we're in talk. I don't know if that's going to happen. We're also in talk of possibly there might be a fine jewelry collection with Zang Toi too.
Yes, I saw them at your last show.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go with this? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, say? Where do you want
Well,
to go?
I want to slowly branch out besides clothing, I think, into lifestyle, because I think lifestyle is very important. I have such a big fan base. Of course, a majority of my fans, they couldn't afford the Zang Toi clothes. Now, that's why I think there's reason why the cut are selling so well. So I get so many fan mail all the time.
Well, did you ever think of actually doing just a lower end ready-to-wear?
I would love to. Like, if I find the right partner, I think I would love to. Like I think I can come up with a great sweater collection that sells for $99.99 and $99.99 at a Target or whatever. I have no problem with that. I think even I can make inexpensive clothes look expensive.
Well,
and
that's
look beautiful.
the thing. I mean, you make expensive clothes look gorgeous, of course, but the way you cut and the way you design and the way you put together an outfit,
to detail,
the attention to detail, you could really be a breakthrough in terms of ready-to-wear because you could make lower end look expensive.
Exactly.
And not look like ready-to-wear.
Ready to wear, exactly.
Yet reach more people because your design should be on every woman.
Right, exactly. And also another thing that I would like to, one, we find the right partner to, I would love to do a collection of large size, plus size for lady. But there's women that are plus size, they can still look beautiful. I think
I got the perfect model for you, my sister.
Yeah, seriously. I think if we get someone to partner with me to do a plus, I think there's a huge business to do because average American are getting bigger and bigger.
They're getting bigger and bigger.
And a lot of bigger ladies, they can afford it, and it's so hard for them to find beautiful clothes.
Yes.
Now, I can make a large plus-size woman look beautiful and feel beautiful about themselves.
Well, we're going to look forward to that. I know that I'm looking forward to that because my sister really struggles to find great-looking clothes.
Yeah.
And usually for large-sized women, for some reason, they make them so kitsch.
Kitsch, I know they're not great quality and all that, but
right, as if large-sized women don't have the money to spend or have the style to do it.
Exactly, they can look beautiful, they can look elegant.
My sister has more
look
style than I do.
Exactly, they can look more
thanks a lot.
fashionable. No, I'm just kidding. They can look. No, a plus-size lady can look fashionable too.
My sister is the best dresser I know. She can make pieces that are, low end or crazy, look so fabulous. And to be able to be dressed by somebody like you, I think that there are more of Christines out there.
Exactly, I agree.
And I think that would be a really great. So if there's anybody out there that is looking to finance a line, this would be the line to talk to. So Zang is in the market for a good but not overpowering partner.
Yes. Thank you, Carol.
You're very welcome. I just did you a commercial. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, Zang.
This is such a treat. This is so much fun.
We just always have so much fun. Usually we're in a restaurant doing this, talking over sashimi and whatnot. But it's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. And I wish you all the success. I know it will be a huge success. I'm not even wish you. I know it's going to be a huge success.
Thank you. And thank you guys for joining us again for Carol's Living Room. We look forward to seeing you again the next time.